Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis was in London this week to discuss trade, investment, education and defence. But one issue seemed to be on everybody's lips.
Time to bring back Elgin Marbles. You want them back?
But what are the Elgin Marbles, or Parthenon sculptures, and where do they belong? The Parthenon marbles are a set of friezes and sculptures from the 5th century BC, which once adorned the Parthenon in Athens. Over the centuries, around half of them were destroyed, and in the early 1800s, the British nobleman Lord Elgin took about half the remaining sculptures back to London, allegedly with the permission of the Ottoman government. He sold them to Parliament for £35,000, and then they were placed in the British Museum, where they've been ever since. The government has insisted that the marbles were not on the agenda for this week's talks, but Athens has been formally lobbying for their return since 1983. The Greek government declined to comment for this piece, but Mitsotakis has previously claimed that having half the sculptures in London is like sawing the Mona Lisa in half.
The British Museum is governed by the British Museum Act 1963. And one of the things that says is that the museum cannot deaccession or give away anything in its power at all. So the only way that anything could be given away is if there is an act of Parliament.
So the marbles can't be permanently returned without Parliament changing the law, but the museum can sanction a loan partnership with Athens. Downing Street says this is a matter for museum authorities. A YouGov poll this week suggested that 53% of Britons support returning the sculptures to Greece. 24% thought they should stay in London, and 23% didn't know.
So one side in which there is merit is the Greek side that says these belong in Greece. We feel very strongly about them and we feel they should be here. That is an argument that has force. I just believe that there's a bigger argument that has even more force, which is to say education, culture, museums, creating unity and understanding through people across the world of all sorts of different cultures is in itself a very important aim. And unlike the argument which says, I want this in my country, which ultimately is nationalism, museums are places where we can learn about other cultures and we see the overall story of humanity. And for me, that argument trumps the argument that I should have something in my country because it was made here.
A British Museum spokesperson told us discussions with Greece about a Parthenon partnership are ongoing and constructive. We believe this kind of long-term partnership would strike the right balance between sharing our greatest objects with audiences around the world and maintaining the integrity of the incredible collection we hold at the museum.